Hey guys, Barrettus here. Welcome back to Thaumcraft 3. So, in the last episode, we got the last of our hidden research done. That was, jump up here so I don't get creeped. That was the, if we go down here, the tiny spectacles and the armor plating for our golems. So I'm pretty sure there's only 7 of these hidden knowledge research things, so we've got them done now. So, I was going to start working on the new base, or maybe do some of the new research, but instead I'm going to show you guys something special that I've been working on. Some hidden experimentation that most of you won't see in Thaumcraft, because this is my own experiments. So I've built a bit of a hidden base. I don't want the golems that are working for me to see this. So if we head down here, I've had to go to a lot of trouble to get this done. I had to hire a heap of certificate workers and had them all working round the clock to get this up and running so that we could begin experimentation. So here's the first line, well, second line of defense. I suppose our little hidden door up there is the first line. This is a 9-button combination lock that will open a piston door, and if you get it wrong, you get bombarded with a hail of arrows. So that's pretty standard defense, I feel. It'll keep out pretty much anyone except me, because I'm badass and have all this armor. I've stood in the line of fire before and it doesn't kill me, it barely even hurts me, especially if I use Razor Wind. But yeah, I also planted these pressure plates here so that if you try and get to it to disarm the trap, it'll set it off as well. So I guess I'll have to just show you guys the combination. Now I'll have to show you the wiring sometime, but it's actually connected to note blocks, which you could probably hear in the background there. So the whole wiring and assembly, wiring and like logic gates and everything are in a separate area, surrounded by warded stone, so they can't be tampered with by anyone else. Which means the door can't be opened except by me, and if you tamper around with the buttons, you trigger it. Because any button that isn't part of the combination sets off the trap. And this button just lets us back in. But that's fine. So we've got our testing chambers, the golem stress testing, and up here we have our golem enhancement. We've also got construction area. They're extending the base, my little certificate workers. This guy here is our foreman. I think he used to be a blacksmith, but he works for me now. So they're working hard, or as hard as certificates can work. I'd have golems down here working, but I don't want them to see what we're doing to their friends. So, this is golem stress testing. Now, this was my initial ideas for this base. I wanted to see exactly how much our golems could take and still function, especially for something like a nether base. So first of all, we have our heat testing, which this phase has completed, but you know, I've just left a few of the golems in here for now, just to see if any other rare occurrences should happen. I don't think any will though. Only the stone and clay are remaining, everything else is burnt up. So I'll show you guys the research logs for this. So we've got the golem heat test, stress testing of different golems and their tolerance for extreme heat. These initial tests will determine the viability of further golem experimentation in the nether. So we basically did days of observation. So day 1, 5 different golems added to the testing chambers, netherrack floors were ignited to generate heat. All golems maintained function after initial fires. So I did the earlier stages of these experiments, mostly the setup and you know, the, what would you call it, hypotheses and all that sort of setup for the experiments. So as you can see here, most of the golems have actually perished, but we'll get to that. So day 2, the golems are continuing to function. Day 3, we note change in golem eye color for wood and straw variants. Their eyes actually turned red, so possibly a side effect of prolonged exposure to the high temperature, or they may just have been angry, I'm not sure. So Day 4, eye color of clay and stone variants have also changed to red. Change does not appear to affect a golem performance. So we don't get much of a performance test while they're in these cages, but you know, they still moved, they still responded to us talking to them, so that was fine. And these ones were performed by Gary, who you'll meet soon. So Day 5, Tallow Golem is experiencing sluggish movement and destabilization of its body structure. Day 6, Straw Golem has spontaneously combusted. I didn't get to see that, but Gary told me it was spectacular. It just went up like a firework. Apparently, even its little core even like burst. It was very magical explosion. So the Tallow Golem's basically melting as well at this point. So Day 7, Tallow Golem's completely dissolved under the heat. We actually had a pool of wax in the crucible for a while. Because I'll show you actually the tallow cage. We actually had to put a crucible in there to place the golem, because he wouldn't work on top of the chest like these other ones would. So yeah, there's actually, we can't really see it in there, but there's actually like still a pool of boiling wax in there, or tallow, which was pretty amusing. So we finished that initial week of observation and moved into like week-long observations. So Golem eye colors remained the same and they all kept operating, so Gary suggested we move to stage 2, which we haven't started yet, but we will. They're currently working on the nether base as well, although it's difficult to get certificates to stay out in the nether. They seem to go a bit insane if you leave them out there too long. So I finally came back and had a look at Gary's notes, declared it a success, and we decided to leave the chambers active because these golems can just stay here. I don't need them for work for anything else, and we don't really... They're not smart golems, so they shouldn't be able to communicate with their other golems, but we don't want the others to find out about this. So yeah, that's the heat testing. It was very interesting, but it basically means we can only use stone and clay golems in the nether. All the other golems just... See, we don't have any notes about the wood golem, but we found while they won't combust like a straw golem, they do have a tendency to just walk into fire and die. So, not the best in a dangerous environment like the nether. Which brings us to our second test, the freeze testing. This one was a lot easier to set up than the fire test, and the results were pretty good. So golem freeze test. These tests determine viability of golem usage in locations of extreme cold. Day 1, we placed them into the containment units. We placed the ice. Temperatures began to drop. Day 2, the temperatures were at halfway, but the golems hadn't succumbed yet. Okay, so day 3, we finally reached our final temperature ranges. The tallow golem was starting to get very stiff and jerky, like it was freezing up. And the straw golem was probably the most interesting one. You probably can't see it that well from out here, but on closer inspection, at least at the time, the straw was actually beginning to freeze and break in sections, just from its general movement. So as you'll see as we get further along, straw and wood golem eye color changed to red. Is it a reaction to the experiment or just a sign of abuse? One of Gary's theories, I'm not sure. It might have been the abuse, but I think it was just the temperature ranges that were causing them to react oddly. So the tallow golem completely ceased functioning. Eye movement suggests the core is still functional. I suggest a shadow test to determine golem integrity. That was Gary's idea, and it was brilliant. I didn't even think of a shadow test after the tallow golem stopped moving. So this is just my note saying that I've approved the shadow test to take place, and the tallow golem has completely disintegrated under the shadow test. Not even the core could be salvaged. Bit of a shame, but now we know. Now we know that the tallow golem can't survive in cold. So the eye color of all remaining golems has changed. The straw golem is fraying pretty badly at this point, but it's still functional, which is amazing. So we finish our initial week of observations, moving to week-long ones. Straw golem's declining, and Gary thinks it won't maintain working function in this extreme. I'm not so sure. I think it could work. We might just have to swap them out every now and then. So aside from Straw Golem, all remaining golems continue to function to acceptable levels, suggest moving to stage 2 field tests, which I agree with, but we need to find a suitable ice location. And I left the golems in containment, because I don't really want to bother digging them out. They do look a little bit angry though, don't they? We can get them. Oh yeah, that one's glaring at me. We can see we had to smash through the ice to perform the shatter test on the tallow golem. But yeah, alright, that was the freeze test too. So that one was a lot more positive. The golems seem to be able to function in extreme cold, though like the straw golem's pretty well degraded to nothing, but I think if it was actually able to move, and maybe with a little bit of fire nearby, it would function properly. That was the freeze test, so that brought us to our final test, which we're still performing. We've only just started this one actually. This is the arrow test. So to determine the resilience of various golems in a combat environment. So I've only performed 2 tests, or 2 subject tests so far. A straw golem, subjected to sustained arrow fire. I fired 8 arrows, it took 3 hits to kill it, and it's dead. The wood golem, 7 arrows, 4 hits, killed it. So we got to keep going with that one, but I'll give you an example of this test in action actually if I put this book away. Let's try a clay golem. So we grab our clay golem, we open up the containment chamber, we have a chest here to place the golem on, close the containment chamber, and look at him in there. You're ready for this? This is watered glass, by the way, just to make sure there's no chance of them escaping. Whoops, not mean to break that. Okay, so do we want to try single shot or rapid fire? Let's show you single shot. So I set it to single shot, activate it, and we have a dispenser in here. Oop, there we go. Let's swap to rapid fire. Alright, we don't want to waste arrows, even though we've still got plenty. That was also a bit of a pain to wire up, but I think it was worth it. We can use the slow single shot method to accurately record number of shots it takes to destroy a golem. So let's throw another one in there. Let's throw a stone golem in there. So open the containment, place the golem, seal containment. Let's put it on single shot, fire. 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots. Whoop, that one's a bit inaccurate. Oh, 4 shots, but it's healing, that's the problem. 4 shots, will it take 5? Oh, enough of this. Let's see. 5, that looked like 6 or 7 actually. Nah, that's not worried. I'll get Gary in here to finish these experiments. Gary's a good guy. He's not very magically inclined, but he's got a good mind for science and experiments. So let's see, I put that book back. Alright, that's good. Let's move on to the Golem enhancement chamber. So this is the Golem enhancement room. And where the hell is Gary? Has he gone walkabout again? He's not in here, is he? No. Oh well, he must have gone to get supplies. He wasn't too happy when I called off the enhancement experiments. But you get that. So we've got some crucibles, some golems. We had to use golems for this area. It was just necessary. We didn't have a choice. So let's see, there's empty books. We have our notes here from our experimentation. So first of all we have Sentient Golems, which is our theory of golem enhancement to create a fully sentient artificial being. This is concepts and initial theory devised by Baradus and Gary. So before attempting creation of a sentient being, it seems prudent to first ensure a strong core. As such, we'll be working to enhance the basic golem core to maintain better cognitive function. So we go on and on and on. But basically, what we wanted to do was create a golem that was smart. Not just like a smart core golem, but a golem that we could, treat as a player almost. And he could build with us, help us, think for himself, not need to take orders all the time from us. Which, according to the Thaumcraft, is a bad idea, and which I later agreed with. But at the time, we were looking forward to this experiment. So we started off with the basic core with a fire shard to make a smart core. Then we tried something different. This is combining intelligent cores with perception cores and a brain in a jar as a catalyst. This created a new core, which we combined into a couple of golems. So those golems we then took in here. So those golems we then took and placed here. These are advanced clay golems with our new advanced smart core, which combines intelligence and perception. So it's actually some sort of a hybrid core. But basically, the plan here was to combine both two advanced golems with these advanced cores, additional cores, slime balls to hold it all together, and another brain in the jar that would act as the master brain. But that wasn't going to be enough. It's still like dumb. It still follows orders. So to really get the knowledge into it, we brought in these brain in the jars, and Gary actually came up with a method of using the arcane infuser. Is that what it's called? Yeah, the infuser, to actually draw a sentia, or the essence of a zombie brain, in the same way we draw a sentia from jars, which was just incredible. Which meant that if we had finished this experiment, we would have created a smart golem, a true sentient smart golem. But as the logs went on and we actually tested the theories, you can see here, construction of the research chamber, we got all the testificates and any other personnel out. We didn't want them to see what we were doing. And then I put Gary to work. He combined the cores successfully. Additionally, initially we tried Nitor, much the same way you make a normal core, but it just wouldn't work. So instead, he realized using zombie brains made all the difference. But that meant we ran into the trouble later on. We're using so many zombie brains that basically whatever we create is evil, and it's just so evil. The initial plan was to get a pure node and use that to draw all our V's from, to try and purify the malice from all these zombie brains. But as you can see on the last page of our log notes, after I saw the advanced golems, that's these guys, in action, I just, no way. I agree with the Thaumcraft now fully, and I just shut down all of this research. This room it's set for, well, I wouldn't say destruction, what would I say? Basically, we're just going to knock it down. We're going to destroy all of our research notes, all of Gary's notes, and probably these golems as well, because some of these golems have brain in the jars inside of them. They might be smart enough to remember what they've seen here, and we don't want that. So, yeah. It was very interesting, this experimentation we did, but ultimately we have to agree with the Thaumcraft, and just making a golem too smart is just a bad idea. At least with zombie brains anyway, and I'm not going to be using testificate brains, so it's just not possible. And I don't think Gary was too happy about that. In fact, I don't know where he is. Where are you, Gary? He should be around here. He always seems to run off when I need him. Oh well. It's alright, maybe we'll see him another time. But yeah, alright guys, this has been my little secret research chamber, which I suppose isn't really that much of a secret now. But yeah, we're just going to have to seal off this room because we don't want Golem enhancement to be a thing anymore. It's just too dangerous. So yeah, on a lighter note, let's end by showing you guys the trap. So let's get out here. I'll pull out Razor Wind. So let's see if I hit the wrong button. Look, there we go. Whoa! Even my sword can't keep them all away. Actually, that's what happens when my sword's used. It stops them from even getting to this wall. If I hit it again and stand back, you'll see, yeah, the whole corridor just gets blanketed with arrows. It's amazing. And these pressure plates? Oh, you tried to disarm it. Ow. But yeah, they don't really hurt me. Alright, let's get out of here then. So yeah, I'm not sure where we're going to go with my Golem experimentation next. Oop, get out of here, Razorwind, you're noisy. So far the Golems out here haven't discovered that room yet. And I hope they never do, because that could be bad. They're not smart, but yeah, some of them have a bad look in their eyes. Especially some of these clay golems, they don't seem happy with what they're doing. Except this guy looks pretty happy, don't ya? This one doesn't. The red eyes, I don't know about that with our experiments. They were very strange. We just couldn't pinpoint what was causing it. Anyway guys, that'll do for this one. Next episode, I think we'll just get straight back into the research. We got some new things to discover. So yeah, alright, I'll see you in the next one.